In February of 2021, model/famous person Kendall Jenner announced the launch of 818 Tequila, a new small batch brand that she assured us was the result of over 3 years of tireless research. And honestly, I can't think of a single business venture that would be more on brand for Kendall Jenner, who has been a bona fide tequila aficionado for so many years that she simply never bothered to mention it in a single interview or TV appearance. You can ask any of her closest friends who have been briefed on the project, and they'll tell you that Kendall has always been known for how she goes on and on and on about her passion for tequila, within private conversations that nobody can fully disprove. I mean, sure, coincidentally, celebrity tequila has been exploding over the last 4 years, with brands by George Clooney, The Rock, even Nick Jonas bringing in millions of dollars. But believe her, Kendall's decision to sell tequila goes way beyond that. It also blends perfectly with her not like other girls pick-me persona that she uses to stand out from the other Kardashian Jenner sisters, and allows her to say things like Kylie has makeup, Khloe has fashion, and I'm just like the tomboy who's over in the corner talking to the guys about tequila and listening to old school hip hop. I'm like such a dork and a nerd and a dorky nerd, but like in a way that also sounds kind of superior to other women. I don't know.
I'm a weirdo.
Well, I hate to say it, Kendall, but you're more like your sisters than you want to believe. Let's look at the facts. Even within a year of launching the brand, we see all of the Kardashian classics, profiting off of cultural appropriation and the destruction of natural resources, using your name plus slick branding to sell overpriced garbage, and our favorite, having your mom concoct expensive PR stunts to help support the false narrative that this family's success is based on merit rather than privilege. You know what? Maybe you're right. And if all of us could have just tried a little bit harder to be born rich and then also marry rich, we would be able to end poverty just as quickly and easily as Kendall ended racism with her magical Pepsi of instant police reform. So grab a poor person and pour them a drink right before exploiting them for labor and pillaging their culture to make a cool Instagram reel. Because we're looking at the problematic history of Kendall Jenner's 818 Tequila brand on today's intoxicating installment of Clip Breakdown. Glug glug. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick, and thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies, TV movies, and other such content here on the web, and chop it up into pieces like an agave plant. If you're one of the people who has to get their hands dirty making agave, not Kendall's sister. And we look at each clip and we decide if it's an ethical business practice or something that the Kardashians are doing. If you're watching this video the same week it came out, I'm currently in Mexico, and it was looking at pictures of that country that led me to an article about the problematic nature of 818 Tequila, something that I was aware of back in February of 2021, but it's continued to be a storied past, right up to the lawsuit for copyright infringement and just a lot of cringy content over on the Drink 818 Instagram. But before we get into it, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns on problematic companies or Kardashian Jenner issues. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week. I've also got merch and a Patreon where you can access bonus content, new enamel pins, stick them in your skins. So let's go right back to the source of Kendall Jenner's launch announcement of 818 Tequila, which, if you're like me, totally caught you by surprise, because not only did I not know that Kendall Jenner was doing a tequila brand, I don't think I've ever even heard her talk about tequila or drink a beverage with tequila in it forever, as long as she's been on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. But hey, I guess you don't have to say everything out in public, so maybe she really was a tequila fan that just never talked about it. At least that's what I would say if I was giving her the benefit of the doubt, but I didn't even have a chance. People started calling out a sense of inauthenticity with this brand from the first videos. This is the very moment Kendall finalized the recipe that she was going to go with for the final product.
They're both strong, but this is a little less strong.
Okay.
Okay, here's what we have so far for the tasting notes. Strong, along with an aromatic strongness that unfolds against a delicate bouquet of strength blossoms. Incredible work, Kendall. Your expertise is really shining through. It's like I can hear how you cultivated this tequila wisdom by spending days in the soil of an agave field with your bare hands. I mean, not that you really did that, because ew, but I'm trying to mood board for the promo shoot. Hey, how big of a sombrero are you able to wear before toppling over, specifically while riding a horse? Also, do horses have accents? Because our horse needs a Mexican accent for the promo shoot. Not only is the word strong not an actual tasting note and pretty vague overall, so if that's the kind of vernacular she's using to finalize her recipe, it's gotta be a little uninformed. People also pointed out something I would have never noticed. She's sipping this tequila from a highball glass and watering it down with ice. Most experts on tequila agree that the best glass to taste it from is a copita or tulip-shaped glass, and neat, because if you're adding ice, it's gonna mess with the flavor. That much I knew. I guess they use that cup because the copita glass is used because it has the expansive middle that allows the aromatic compounds to gather, and then a narrow top that concentrates the aroma at your nose. Drink smells and cup shapes, it's so fascinating. Like, there's no fucking way my nose cares about what the middle of the glass looks like, but that's what you say. I wanna know how many of you watch the new Kardashian show on Hulu, because I used to get sucked into Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but not the new one. So I'm thinking of maybe just doing a whole marathon, and I know just what I'm gonna use. I can now have a stunning home theater experience no matter where I feel like binge watching. And if that sounds like something you'd like to see, then you want to check out the sponsor of today's video, Nebula, the makers of the world's first pocket-sized cinema, from the trusted company Anchor. I'm talking about the ultra-portable capsule laser projector. Nebula is famous for portable projectors, and they're the first brand to harness laser technology to give you some of the brightest and clearest images that you're able to take with you wherever you go. Capsule's laser is way brighter and easier to use than a standard LED projector, and even better, it's also much smaller. Capsule laser projectors are about the size of a soda can. That's why tens of thousands of people already rely on Capsule 1 and Capsule 2 for impromptu meetings, outdoor adventures, home theaters, parties, but it gets even better. I'm so excited that I got my hands on the Capsule 3. Capsule's third generation has improved and enhanced its features over the other two in every way possible. It's Chromecast compatible and super easy to cast real-time images from your phone or browser, and it has Android TV 11, so you can easily connect the streaming services you already have. Compared to ordinary LED projectors, the Capsule 3 is 1.8 times brighter. With 300 lumen and 1080p resolution, you can see that it's even noticeably brighter than the Capsule 2, which has 200 lumen and 720p resolution. Capsule also has a longer battery life, intelligent environment adaptation features like seamless autofocus and keystone correction, so you're not stuck manually trying to get a clear image that is free of distortion. Other improvements include a sleek, streamlined design. It has a powerful 8-watt speaker with Dolby Digital sound, more saturated and accurate colors. I'm finding so many uses for my Capsule laser projector, like getting TV shows onto my bedroom ceiling. I know that when you see the Capsule laser's ultra bright and crystal clear imagery, you'll also be excited to bring this everywhere you go. So use the links in my description to check out the top-rated capsule from Nebula by Anchor. After comparing the two, I'm definitely gonna recommend the latest generation Capsule 3, Nebula's brightest, smartest, and coolest looking capsule ever. Thanks so much to Nebula for sponsoring today's video and powering my next Kardashian binge session. Speaking of, back to Kendall and her binge sipping, tequila sipping. The first photos and I guess round of bottles of tequila tequila to be released also let people know that this wasn't just a brand of Mexican tequila that Kendall Jenner was like purveying. It's a pretty blatant cultural appropriation since the bottles themselves ignore basic grammar in Spanish. The bottles were printed with like Blanco tequila, Anejo tequila, instead of, as it would be in Spanish, Tequila Blanco. She's since corrected the labels, but like, don't act as though you have real Mexican agave farmers on your team if no one was there to proofread the most simple Spanish. Like, you don't even have a Spanish-speaking person who works when you design the labels. That's what it feels like. And the comments were very clear right from the first announcement. There was gonna be strong backlash against this. It took 4 years to create a good tequila, then she proceeded to drink it with ice. Great, another white person getting even more rich off of our culture. Small family-owned tequila makers are going to lose business. I hope you are paying the actual workers in Mexico who are the ones behind this. Bruh, you're not even Latina. White people profiting off different countries' supply. And yeah, you can't ignore the fact that this was a product that was made in Mexico. In fact, all tequila can really only come from certain regions of Mexico and are most often from agave fields that are family owned. So when Kendall takes this brand and puts her face all over it, it totally limits the success of those small family owned businesses. We're probably getting paid a very small fraction of all the profit for the manual labor that they're doing. It's hard work cutting those agave plants down to the heart so that you can get the sugars and make tequila out of it. But anyway, I guess the tasting was a success, right? Watch this.
I like this one.
You see, for the final round of testing, we made Kendall use deductive reasoning to choose the glass of tequila that we hadn't put poison in. As a Hail Mary, we poisoned all of them, but she just keeps drinking them and saying it tastes strong. I guess her nervous system isn't even complex enough to worry about it? Kendall's announcement came with the caption, "For almost 4 years, I've been on a journey to create the best tasting tequila. After dozens of blind taste tests, trips to our distillery, entering into world tasting competitions anonymously and winning, 3.5 years later, I think we've done it. This is all I've been drinking for the last year, and I can't wait for everyone else to get their hands on this to enjoy it as much as we do." And it also has a picture of a review from an award the tequila won where it's like, "We don't know who made this, but we love it. Who made it?" Which to me just sounds like paid PR. It's a little too perfect. And then Kris Jenner reposted it with, "Kenny, I'm so proud of you and the years of work and love you put in to drink 818. And you're both making real sure to mention that this was years in the making. Even if she had been deciding on certain parts of the tequila brand for 4 years, it's clear that it wasn't like a full-time job for her where she was mixing different ingredients. It was probably every couple weeks she would compare 2 taste tests and decide which one she liked better and then just narrowed it down from there. But this is an internet-facing brand, and really the marketing is all that matters. So, of course, with all of her famous friends, Kendall is able to create a lot of buzz. Wow, thanks everybody. Usually my party guests hate it whenever I bring out my glass bottle of dark amber urine. So thanks for the warm reception. I mean, she's my roommate after all, and she deserves to have fun too. Don't you, Amber? There's also this picture where we see some of her friends tasting it, and it's like I can see that those girls are holding chasers, and the guys are holding their hands in a fist so they can choke it down straight. But don't worry, because honestly, tequila is all Kendall and her friends have been drinking forever.
You know, it's all I drank with me and my friends, and we loved it so much.
Prove it, Kendall. If you're gonna claim that you and your friends only drink tequila, you all better have fatty liver disease and the lab tests to back it up. Otherwise, it's false advertising. Another acceptable form of proof would be if you have Jaden Smith and Moises from Hannah Montana get out here and do some sort of TikTok dance. I just need to confirm that they have reduced motor function. Oh, it's not all your friends drink? You drink water too? Well, you should have said that. that. There's no room to be hyperbolic in the world of marketing. This is America. People read the Bible and think there was actually a guy in the olden days magically multiplying fishes and herding exactly 2 of every animal onto a big wooden boat. Like, is he sorting through bacteria with chopsticks? Be reasonable. Be reasonable. Lucky for us, Kendall comes through with video evidence of her and her friends during one of those many times when they drank tequila and, quote, loved it so much.
Are you feeling 3?
Yeah, this is a 3 for sure.
Show us how you feel 3. Show us.
Who is that talking in the background of the clip? Because it sounds like the social media manager from 818 is a little controlling when it comes to capturing a carefree vibe.
Are you feeling 3?
Yeah, this is a 3 for sure.
Show us how you feel 3. Show us.
I don't know if she's saying feeling free or feeding 3. He has a family of 3 that he's trying to feed. Why tequila? Anyway, aside from the grammatical errors on the label and general sort of novice attitude of Kendall, the next major backlash came months after the launch when she finally posted pictures for the first time of the actual agave farmers, but it was along with some very well lit and artistic looking promo photos of Kendall herself in what many believe was like a cultural appropriation of a Latina look, like trying to look Latina when she's not. Here's some video little clips that they put on Instagram from the same photo shoot. Very moody. What kind of Children of the Corn commercial was that trying to emulate? Looking like She Who Walks Between the Rows out there. Kendall's just out there strutting through the field with a bottle like, hey guys, so these plants are called tequila cactuses and they're actually the official state bird of Mexico. And I've just been like obsessed with them since I was a little baby. Like I would cry and cry and cry and then my mom would have to come and like put a gigantic potted plant next to me in bed. I know, I'm such a dork. I just love science and tequila and being one of the guys, but also empowering to other women. I guess I'm just like such a weirdo. Also, why is she driving a car from the 1920s in the beginning of that clip? It looks like a trailer for the Conjuring universe. Here's another clip that's similar but different. As you see here, every single bottle of 818 tequila is made possible by taking one soulful looking horse out into the field to offer it as a blood sacrifice to Tequila Monster, who if pleased then blesses us with his holy spirits. Ah yes, another successful batch. We celebrate with a golden hour toast. Salad, everyone. Salad. That's Spanish for cheers. Salad, mi amigos. Avocado salad. The Kardashian-Jenners already have a long history of appropriating other cultures, and you'd have to be in serious denial to pretend that that's not going on here. Kendall does not get on camera for this brand without first putting on some sort of sombrero and jeans and a button-up shirt. Like you're gonna ride here on a private jet in full Humidor cosplay. That's the term for the field workers who harvest the plants for mezcal and tequila. And those who actually live in Mexico quickly got Kendall together on Twitter after seeing this portrayal of the Humidores. Someone on Twitter said, now, moving on to her advertisement, it's a huge misconception of Mexican culture. No, Miss Kendall, we do not ride on horses all the time. No, we do not wear hair in braids all the time. No, workers do not get to drink the tequila. Also, that's not the way you drink it. And the workers do not work with that kind of clothes. And finally, your advertisement is so whitewashed / California vibes. Jalisco is not California, so don't try to make it that way. And it's true. The celebrity tequila industry is hurting small farmers. While The Rock and George Clooney made their brands well before Kendall did, she's easily the most famous or most buzzworthy person to launch a tequila brand, so she's she's taking the brunt of the blame for this. She's the public face of the problem. Agave, the plant itself, the price has skyrocketed 1,000% over the last 20 years, but the jimadores, the people collecting the plants and hurting their bodies to do so, their salaries haven't risen proportionately. So with the increased demand from these huge brands, like the Rock's tequila brand broke records last year. So objectively, the Rock was taking the majority of the agave, and the increased demand is not something that smaller agave farmers can keep up with, and it's gonna push them out. But you can't pretend like Kendall and her team aren't making it seem as though she has this quaint little small distillery of her own. Like, you would think she is a small family business. She looks like Pippi Longstocking after reading Esperanza Rising one time. She's like, you guys might know me as Kendall Jenner, but out here in the fields, I would prefer if you use the authentic Mexican pronunciation of my name, which is Kendall Jenner. Thank you, gringo. Like, sis, you are literally English, Scottish, Irish, Dutch, German, and Welsh. There is no Latin heritage in you. You are 5 tequila sunrises away from having a serious stomach ulcer. The industry experts point out that this type of brand, it's not benefiting the farmers particularly well. It's only serving to make Kendall richer while gutting the industry and specifically hurting small-scale, mostly Mexican facilities in the process. Don't build all your marketing on how much you love the beauty of Mexico with their thunder and lightning when you're actually depleting the country of the agave that many people make their living off of, while also exploiting those workers for your own brand while paying them 1% of the profits at most. It's also noted that even if Kendall was working on this project for almost 4 years, you would think that that would give her some clue that there's a very delicate climate going on and that these brands from non-Mexican farmers are actually causing damage. Like, I guess it's cool that Kendall believes she has the acting prowess to make it seem like this agave farm has been in her family for generations. She wants to make us believe that it's always been her greatest passion in life, while celebrity tequila brands just happen to be exploding over the last 4 years. Wait, how does Nick Jonas have a tequila brand? I don't want that. The tequila category grew by 62% in 2020. So of course, all of a sudden, Kendall is like, no, but really, it's my favorite drink. I love selling it. I love the way it burns my mouth, and I love the way it allows me to get a spray tan 3 shades darker. They posted this clip on Twitter where Kendall is watching the agave cook with the body language of someone who is seeing planet Earth for the first time from a space station.
That's ready to make some tequila. Anyone?
That is so beautiful.
It's so beautiful and so inspiring to other women. She said, as a supermodel, I was constantly told that I'm too tall and pretty for regular life, and therefore I could never own a hot closet full of giant pine cones. But look at them. Mira, muchachos. This article I read on Insider did point out that it's not only Mexican people who can have a tequila business. In fact, there's Del Maguey Mezcal, which is owned by an artist in LA named Ron Cooper. Not only had he been visiting Mexico for many years, but he was probably one of the first people to bring mezcal tequila from Mexico to the US. And all of his branding is focused on the small single villages that make mezcal and encouraging people to learn what mezcal is. Not just being like, and now I'm gonna pose in front of this truck. Like, she's in all of the branding, and the people who are doing the actual work and deserve to profit off of it are getting the least. So obviously honestly, after that backlash, the Drink 818 Instagram has been cranking out the content marketing at an impressive speed. And it's actually effective. Like, I can see how this would easily convince many consumers that Kendall cares about the individuals harvesting her agave. As you'll see in this round of damage control videos, 818 Tequila is actually laying the brickwork for a better tomorrow. I mean, literally, they're gonna be talking about bricks a lot.
818 is committed to supporting the preservation and revitalization of traditions specific to the tequila producing region of Mexico, such as using agave fibers in the creation of adobe bricks. Through our close partnership with Sacred, we are using leftover agave fibers to create traditional adobe bricks. 818 is committed to reducing our impact on the environment and supporting local communities where heritage agave spirits are made, such as using agave fibers in the creation of adobe bricks.
Oh, listen, I'm not denying the importance of fiber in creating adobe bricks. So obviously, your entire bloodline is a gift from the gods. I mean, first your ancestors chased all the snakes out of Ireland, and now you're providing this one region in Mexico with your pulp. But maybe if you could think of just like one or two other examples of how your brand is being altruistic, maybe something that doesn't have to do with blessing the people of Jalisco with the byproduct you were planning to throw away anyway. Like, they would probably appreciate it if you could just stop landing Kylie's private jet on their local cemetery every time you visit. Because in Mexican culture, as with most others, that's a sign of disrespect. Of course, this is a fun brand centered on the Gen Z market. So it's not all educational about the people picking the plants. We also get to meet the bartenders and mixologists who work with 818 and craft specialty tequila cocktails. Seeing normal people with normal jobs does help make this brand feel more relatable to people who aren't supermodel nepotism babies. Did somebody say inclusivity? This was a post from June.
Hi, I'm Corey and I'm here at the Abbey Food and Bar in West Hollywood, California.
Gay rights!
Oh, they serve this tequila at the Abbey in WeHo? I don't know if you've ever been to the drag brunch there, but they're a classy place, and they're not gonna serve anything that doesn't perfectly pair with greasy chicken wings and oral sex in a gender-neutral restroom. An expert on tequila in this In Style article points out that every bottle of tequila comes with a 4-digit number called an NOM, which is assigned by the Consejo Regulador del Tequila. That helps you trace the tequila to exactly which facility it's made at. The Rock's tequila is called Terramana, and its NOM is 1613, which they can connect with Patron with NOM 1492 and see that those are the only two brands produced at the facility where they're made. Kendall's tequila has the NOM 1137, and that means it's produced at a distillery with over 60 brands being made there. And this guy who works for Patron points out that this is one of the two distilleries most well known for producing celebrity tequila brands. Basically, they're all the same. There might be slight differences between each variation. Like, one might be aged in a French oak barrel while another is aged in an American oak barrel. But even me, a novice, knows that that doesn't sound like enough of a difference. It sounds exactly like what Kylie Jenner does with her cosmetics line. It's private labeled and produced by a manufacturer who also creates much more affordable products that have nearly identical colors and formulas. So it's weird that Kendall is like acting as though she created a tequila when it really was just taste testing. She chose which one she liked better until they chose the one they wanted to source from this vendor. And then they just add all of this marketing that makes it seem like a special product from Mexico, even though you're really just paying for garbage or a low quality product that has a celebrity affiliation. Like, you're supposed to age the agave for 9 years, but because there's such a high demand, they're aging it for 3 to 4 years. And then they have to add other ingredients and additives that dilute the tequila so it's less pure and flavorful. And that's what they're upcharging you for with the pretty pictures. And as far as Kardashian Jenner brands go, I wouldn't call Kendall like the best ambassador for her own stuff. Here she is in a series of clips with David Yan Gonzalez, who is the manager manager of tequila operations for 818. He actually has 20 years of experience in the tequila industry, but let Kendall handle the marketing speak. Good idea.
It's a feeling that you're giving someone and a time shared with friends and family and people that you love. So it's really cool to be able to be the provider of those good times.
Sorry, but who was it that told Kendall Jenner she was a provider of good times? Or is that just something she's trying to manifest for herself? Because someone lied several times. Out of all of the Kardashian-Jenner sisters, Kendall seems like the one most likely to end her own birthday party early because a convenient migraine occurred as soon as she saw a group of people laughing a little too hard in a conversation that didn't include her. I just feel like Kendall might need a little more practice in front of the camera because right now she's stuck in this awkward place where any of her scripted talking points sound scripted. We are committed to putting hay inside of bricks and we will always have bricks that are bricky. But then when she speaks from the heart, it's a little difficult to figure out whether or not she even has a point to all of the words she just said.
I love to enjoy it when I'm out with friends at dinner or at someone's birthday party or wedding or whatever it is. And I also love to just sip it on the couch with my friends or while I'm watching my favorite TV show. So it's honestly, like he said, super versatile.
As are most beverages, because it's just liquid in a cup. But sure, yeah, list some locations. In certain interviews, you can hear the question being asked. Like when you're interviewing someone on camera, you usually ask them to restate the question in the form of an answer. So obviously someone behind the camera was like, Kendall, what are your favorite places that you like to enjoy 818? And she's like, I like to enjoy it in, like, okay, say it in a way that sounds normal, not like you're answering an essay question on the SATs. David honestly feels a little more fluid when he's talking about this product. This is, to me, is like what it sounds like when you're actually passionate about tequila.
Cocktails are so important. You can have one cocktail, let's say a margarita, and you can taste 3 different dishes and the margarita is going to taste different. And that's one of the beautiful things about tequila and especially 818.
Oh, out of all of the times to insert a close-up reaction shot of Kendall, why did they choose the moment where she's fully scowling at David like he's the pathetic little man who dared to sound more knowledgeable when tequila has been her whole personality for the last 8 to 10 weeks? Like, girl, what is this now?
What music pairs best with tequila? Maybe it's a little corny, is like jazz is the first thing that comes to mind for me. Second is probably hip hop.
Oh my God, Kendall, you're so unique and eclectic. What other personality traits have you colonized from people of color? Why do I feel like Kendall does not regularly listen to jazz while sipping tequila and just sort of said that out of panic? It's giving Ryan Gosling in La La Land. She said, my favorite outfits for drinking tequila, probably like a Native American ceremonial headdress, over some cornrows with like maybe full geisha makeup. Oh, and a bindi because I love the culture of India, except for the food because that smells terrible to me and I always complain about it at restaurants. Like, why can't curry taste like tequila, my favorite? Deliciosa. And Extraordinario, Rosario Dawson. Oh, and just like almost every brand that the Kardashian-Jenner family has ever debuted, it wasn't long before somebody came at them with a copyright infringement suit. Clip Bandits LLC, the owner of Tequila 512, accuses 818 of simply and blatantly copying the Tequila 512 logo and color scheme. They filed the lawsuit in February of this year, saying that they're also dressing the trademark similarly. Yellow label. The name is a prominent area code with 1 being central. By the way, 818 is an area code known for having a predominantly Latin population. These are often underserved communities, and just like she's appropriating Mexican culture, she's also just appropriating Latin American neighborhoods to lend credibility to this product. So Tequila 512 claims that there has been actual consumer confusion because of the similarity between these two products. And they're not mad about 818 garnering extra sales off the popularity of 512 because obviously 818 is now more well-known than the Tequila 512, but they're saying there's a considerable ill will associated with 818 tequila because of cultural insensitivity, and 512 doesn't want to be dragged down with it. It says 818 can, quote, shoot itself in the foot with its own positioning and marketing, but cannot be allowed to drag Tequila 512 down with them. Lawyers don't think there's much of a case here because, for one, you can't say like you own using an area code as the name of your product, and 818 Tequila comes in 3 different types, and there's like not just a yellow bottle, there's also a pink and a green one. But I do think it's interesting that when Kim Kardashian had her mobile game, one of the prizes you could win at a certain point was 818 Tequila, and the game developers accidentally pulled in a picture of Tequila 512. So that's what was being shown in the game. So clearly they look a little similar that even the people making the game didn't know. So even if there's no case, it's interesting that 818 this year has made some swift moves to not only counter the perception that they're just using a cheap stock formula by releasing a new custom elevated luxurious blend of tequila called 8 Reserve, but they've also kind of switched up the branding considerably with a custom bottle that no other company is gonna say looks like theirs. They teased it on the 818 Instagram with these glossy visuals. Wow, that was the most gorgeous and artistic interpretation of Kris Jenner's bladder leakage that I've ever seen. Although I feel like it could be even stronger if I add a little bit of voiceover. New from 818 Tequila, Kendall's Golden Shower.
Holding your pee is no way to live life.
The bottle does look nice. I kind of feel like it is more of a flower vase than a tequila bottle, but they did a whole story about how the bottle is made. She's like choosing between identical looking bottles. She's like, these are handmade in a mold.
The ceramic 8 bottle represents the ultimate expression of the 818 brand. It also makes for a beautiful piece of art to place on the shelf long after you've poured your last drop.
Is there any way she can read from that script without sounding so much like she's reading from a script? Or if it has to sound like she's reading, maybe if she could just do it with a little more confidence. I feel like I can hear that she got her GED and then never picked up a book again. Reading for leisure? She's way too busy because it takes a long time to sip different tequilas and then struggle to find something to say about them. So unless you know of some books that magically teach people new words to use, everyone just needs to back the f off of her and her 8 bottle, her bottle of 8. All right, Kendall, we're selling these really well. So big finish, we'd like you to describe the flavor of your tequila in 1 word. After you take a sip, where, you know, if your facial expression can really show us how much you love the way it tastes, let us see you savoring those flavors.
And if you take a sip,
It's so nice though.
it just like bursts into your mouth.
Sure does. Like a car bomb that I have to swallow now. So nice though. Deep breath, Kendall. If that twink Nick Jonas can pull this off, then so can I. This tequila would be so great with a corn tortilla. For like almuerzo. I'm so sorry, but I have to puke this up. Someone get one of the handmade ceramic ladies to whip me up a puke bowl. Fast! And that's how you respect culture while making money off of it. What do you think of 818 Tequila and the entire celebrity tequila kind of explosion that we're having right now? To me, there's proof that it's driving up the price of agave because it's not like you can grow agave anywhere, only in these certain regions of Mexico, and it's supposed to mature, but they're not letting it. So it's just damaging the people who use tequila as their not only main source of income, but also people from the outside don't realize how deeply embedded agave and tequila is within the Mexican culture. People have been using agave in food and drink since the ancient Mayans, but obviously that's not how George Clooney's gonna come in and try to give it a Spanish name, Casamigos. He sold that brand for $1 billion. It's just not a good look. Sell something from white culture, like, I don't know, aioli. That seems French. Mayonnaise. You gotta do mayonnaise. Ketchup. Have a line of hot sauces and mustards. There's all these different ways, but that doesn't sell. The Kardashian family knows the best way to make a product look cool is by pretending to be brown. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below and give this video a big thumbs up if you want more problematic businesses covered in Clip Breakdown. But most importantly, if you're new here, I'd love to have you click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos. Once again, I upload 2 new ones every week, so hit that notification bell icon and you'll always be the first to know when I've distilled something muy deliciosa. Don't forget I have merch and a Patreon, new pins. Thank you so much for sacrificing a horse with me for Tequila Monster. You guys are all the greatest. I will see you next time. Mwah. Adios.